completed our 6-week mark. We've completed our first quarter of homeschooling, and I am super excited that it. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ilsa, mama of 6, currently homeschooling my 3 younger children, 13, 4, and 2, and I share all things homeschooling, homemaking, from scratch recipes, and encouragement for all new mamas. So schooling has been going really well. We've actually took 2 camping trips recently, and we're able to incorporate our homeschooling work into our camping trip, which I find it to be so rewarding. And I just go back to thinking of, if my children were not being homeschooled, we would not be able to be taking, for beginning of the year camping trips, and we would not be able to stay caught up on work if we were missing school. So I'm super grateful that we have been able to take our work with us and explore nature and just be a family, enjoy together time, and it's been working really well. So to dive in, my 13-year-old is doing really well in his 8th grade year, and it's super exciting. And if you have not already watched any of my previous videos, we are part of a co-op classical conversation, which we go once a week, and we are on cycle 3 studying American history, which I'm super excited about because I love studying true American history and diving into that and teaching my sons about the country that they are born in and just learning more all the resources. So my 13-year-old is doing Matthew C, and he's been doing that since mid-year of last year. And we've been doing classical conversations, we've been doing the logic with classical conversations, and we are diving in to the anatomy of the body and algebra and all the things, and it's going pretty smoothly. I have to say that we do more of a review work together. He does his work on his own, very independent worker, and then we just do a review, reading the essays, reading out the research. We're doing a lot on research on American history heroes and creators and inventors, and he's diving deep into that. So it's going really well. He had to read 2 books for the first 6 weeks of our start to our homeschooling year, and he's completed that, and we're going to be jumping into the next 2 books for the next quarter. And this is going to be a read aloud between my son and I, and it's God's Smuggler by Brother Andrew with John and Elizabeth Sherrill, and The Hiding Place. So these 2 books I actually have never read, so we'll be doing that together, and this will be for a second quarter of language arts and research and American history information, and we'll be diving into that. He's also going to be taking the course of David Ramsey's entrepreneur course. We're going to be starting that in November. I was thinking of starting that right after the holidays, but I figure we could start in November, being that there'll be so many breaks in between, and get a head start on that. So now for my 4-year-old, we also have him enrolled in classical conversations co-op group. So we are studying American history with my 4-year-old as well, and we are doing science research and body anatomy and multiplication and all the things like that. But when we break it down at home, we do nature studies, and we are still using the good and the beautiful, signs for little hands and hearts. And I shared this in my last video because I truly love it. And what I loved was that without purchasing this book, we were already going camping, and I had no idea that there was some information on camping and insects and worms and things like that. So we were able to take this book with us, and we read this entire story about camping and mosquitoes and stings, and then we dove into learning more about worms and things like that. And what I do here is I read ahead, and I just label it here with the date, and that'll be when we would start that study. And this was perfect because this is what we took for camping, and we did it out there camping, and my boys sat around our picnic table where our tent was pitched up, and there was a fire going, and they were doing their work. But it wasn't just sit down work and putting out paper and pen. It was exploring, it was learning, it was researching, it was diving in with your hands, and it's always my favorite way to learn and teach my children. So we've been doing that, and he's still continuing with level K language arts from the good and the beautiful, and level K math with the good and beautiful. We are on lesson 48, and it's going really well. He's enjoying that. We're reading the Reading Booster A books, and there are 20 books in here. 20 books in here, and we are doing all of these books, and I shared it in my last video, and he's able to read the first 4 of these books on his own, so things are moving along, and I'm super excited about that. In my curriculum pick video that I shared a month back, I had spoken a lot about making sure that my sons are aware of God's creation, understanding the word of the Bible, and I wanted to break it down into Bible studies for my sons in levels that they would be able to understand. And I came across notconsumed.com, which is a Bible study. It's a company, and they make Bible studies for families and for children. And there are 3 pieces. I have one, my 13-year-old has one, and my 4-year-old. My little guy, he just takes a paper and pen as we're talking, and he just plays around with it. But it has been going so well. It is a 5-week Bible study, 5 days a week. We have not been doing it 5 days a week. We've been doing it 3 to 4 days a week. They're doing it mainly with their dad, and they sit around the table and they read and they get the information and they open their Bibles and they are drawing for my little ones, and it's so great to watch them connect with God's word and just have that guidance, and it's so much fun. And again, that's notconsumed.com. Super interested, and we are doing Keeping the Heart. They have so many different Bible studies for little guys. They have one on siblings, brothers, temptation. There's so many, but I love the Keeping of the Heart, because Keeping of the Heart is one of the main things, right? Make sure your heart stays pure and in God's word, so it aligns with everything else that you do in life. And it comes with these challenge cards that you can put out your refrigerator. This is for my little guy. For my 4-year-old, the next time you hear or see something you know is wrong, walk away or turn it off, so you can keep junk out of your heart, which I like, because those words are perfect for a little one who is starting to understand things that aren't good and things that he shouldn't be doing, but just keeping it in words that he can really just take in and absorb. So it's really good. I love that Bible study. My 4-year-old and my 2-year-old are practicing the map of the United States, all 50 states and capitals. So we've been tracing and going over, and we are down to Mississippi. So we started at Maine, Augusta, Maine, and we're down to Mississippi. So he'll use this map over here, trace it. My little one will trace it. They are laminated, so they could trace it as many times. Go in and dot the words. We use Play-Doh and Cheerios and things like that to go diving in to learning our states and capitals. And there's a really fun song that is so popular with younger kids. It's a very old song. A friend of mine shared it with me, and my kids love it. I'm going to link it below, because it's great if you have little ones, so that they could sing along and learn their states and capitals. And this is just independent work that I've done for my 4-year-old and my 2-year-olds, just tracing work, days of the week. I made this up on Canva. It's just days of the week. He can write his name up here and then just copy the days of the week. So it's traced. It's very light, but you can see it's tracing. So he would, trace Sunday, Monday, the whole 7 days of the week, and it's just independent. So he gets to learn the letters of each word. He knows that there's 7 days in a week, and it's just for memory and independent work. He's a big writer. He loves to sit with pen and write and just get it perfect. He's a perfectionist. We're working on that. And this is also something that I had gotten from the Gentle and Classical curriculum. So it was a free print up, and it's a nature study, and it's a Gentle and Classical nature study, and it has different colors and different animals. So this is sea life. So it dives into different parts of the animal. My printer wasn't working that well, so the images didn't come out great, but it is such an amazing print up, and it was free. So just know there's a lot of free resources that you can get for your little ones. You can laminate them so that you can use them over and over, and as you use them over and over, they will not be damaged because you're laminating them. But this one, I just did a print up for my 4-year-old, and my little guy just sits around and kind of either helps him or just points at things, and it's just fish, and it breaks down the astronomy of a fish, and I think the anatomy of a fish, and I think he really enjoys it. So we do that for science as well. Which is tied to God's creation. Super helpful. These are just printouts that we've been using since my little guy was 3 and a half. and he's now 4.5. So we were using it for about 7 months, just tracing. It was a package from Gentle and Classical curriculum, and we were using this where he was tracing, learning his numbers, his alphabet, doing the days of the week, the weather, and things like that. And now we are moving it along, passing it down to my 2.5-year-old. So it's suggested for 3 and older, but my 2.5-year-old is always involved and always here with us. So just to give him something to keep his hands busy, this is busy work, not necessarily that he is starting a curriculum, but just to keep him busy. I don't expect him to write his name on this top line, but it does say name, I am, and you put the age that you are, I feel, and it's silly faces because it helps kids with visual, like pictures. Kids are able to just dive in deeper and understand more of that, what that means, because they don't know how to read. So that is what we've been doing. We have had a successful first quarter, and I'm so excited that it has gone smoothly. I know that as the seasons change, there might be some change happening. The days are going to feel longer. It's going to be darker. We are still exploring and we're having a successful homeschooling year. And if you have any comments you'd like to share or ask any questions, please don't forget to leave them down below. I will share all the links that are great resources. So don't forget to check them out. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.